I'm a big fan of nepotism, right? And it has like a negative connotation, but for me, birds of a feather flock together. That's a true statement. And a lot of times
Yeah.
when the right people are getting the nepotism, in my opinion, is a favorable thing. How many people can have a billionaire attorney call them and say, hey, let's meet in Beverly Hills, right?
So here's the thing. My kids know. And Trevor will tell you, and I told him this when I didn't want to hire him, and he's like, "Come on, come on." So I hired him and a couple of his roommates out of college, and quite honestly, he's probably the smartest thing we ever did. But I told Trev in the beginning, I'm like, "Dude, I'm going to be harder on you than anybody ever." I'm thankful he doesn't work directly for me because I'd probably kill him, right? But a lot, and I told him, "You're going to be a lot more is expected out of you just because of your name, and it's going to be harder, and your path's going to be harder." And you're going to be in a microscope. You can't, if you say something dumb, it's going to be 10 times fold. If you don't do your job, it's going to be 10 times this. And he does great with every once in a while, he's still 26-year-old, 27-year-old kid, right? But 99% of the time he upholds that duty and that he feels a duty to our name and to our business and to himself. He's going to be probably a better PA than I ever was because he learned young. He got the bad shit out of the way early instead of keeping it into your 30s and 40s. So yeah, nepotism is, when it's done right, I think it's a great thing because it took me 30 years to figure out my life, bro. Right? I bumps and bruises and misspending and dumb shit and all this bad stuff we all went through. If as a father, right, my duty was to shrink that 30 years down to get them on the road where they get more opportunity, they can do the right thing without having the financial pressure or I've been working since I graduated college, I think May 5th, 1988. I went to work May 7th, 1988, and I haven't stopped, right? I didn't really get a chance to enjoy my life in my early 30s and 40s and even early 50s. And I certainly want them to work hard. I want them to have an opportunity to enjoy their life as well because there's a balance. I never had any bad. It was 95 work, 5% social. I never had that balance. And if they can get like a 70-30 or a 60-40, they're way ahead of the game. Because money's great, but at the end of the day, enjoying your life and seeing the world and doing cool stuff is part of it too. And they both got to do that. And that's been hugely important. So, and plus it makes you a better person to be more, just to have a better round of education and seeing stuff than stuck in an office all day, just pounding out claims. That's no fun. Right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And the connection with your family and your family following in your footsteps, that actually puts you in a unique situation. A lot of companies, especially the service-oriented companies, if and when, and I say if, because a lot of business owners never even ask their children, they just assume. But if and when a business owner asks their children if they want to take over the company, 9 times out of 10, the children say no. It seems like if you ever had that conversation, they would have told you yes. So that puts you even more unique situation that you decided to say, hey, even though I have children that will obviously keep this company going, and I'm assuming that you're cash flowing, private equity companies are not going to put any money in any companies that aren't cash flowing. What made you decide that this is the equivalent to taking your chips off the table instead of going the succession route?
Well, so once again, Trevor's still involved. He has stock, and it's going to be. I'm still my own entity, right? But here's the thing: when I started, I wanted to build a legacy business and have everything turned over to them. But we fought the private equity thing a little bit in the beginning until it started making more sense. And at the end of the day, I do have a obligation to my family and my business to make the right decision financially. At the end of the day, we all get out of bed and go to work to provide for our family. And I was able to cut the timing down and I advanced myself about 10 years of my life financially in one transaction, right? And that's, at the end of the day, that's what we're here for, man. Mm-hmm. Retirement's important. Having a foundation, a liquid and a good financial foundation is the way to do it, right? So we made that decision. It was important. I took my time with it. I found the right niche for us and the right place to put us, and that's what we did. But it was an easy decision. But when the offers started coming in, and we found the right place to go, it made a lot of sense financially because, like I said, it's all about risk and reward, just like a claim. It's a the insurance company, they see risk, they're going to pay it. Same thing as a business. It's all about risk. I just took some of my risk and I transferred it to a portfolio of money where they assume a lot of that risk and they paid me to take that as well. So there's a give and take. And now I have an obligation to make sure that I pay them for that risk and I get their money back tenfold. And that's my contract. My job is to increase their net worth on their end as well, and I take that very seriously. Right, the better I do, the better the company does, the better their investment does, and it's a full circle thing. So none of it's a lot different. I just have a few more zeros now to play with to get more stuff done on our end. Really, you know what I mean? We're going to grow even more than we have, and we're going to hire 4 or 5 more salespeople. We're going to grow the thing more organically as well, and we're just going to keep going and going and going when that makes sense. It's all about EBITDA. It's all about the bottom line and making really good, solid financial decisions.